Have you ever finished a stack of granny squares and then realize, uh-oh, now I've got to join them? Yep, that's the moment when many projects become forever whips. What's your go-to method for joining squares? Whip stitch, slip stitch, or join as you go? Or are you on the team they're still sitting in a basket? Hey crochet friends, I'm Mo, your crochet companion. Today is a quick tutorial. I'm going to be showing you 3 quick and easy ways to join granny squares, the whip stitch, slip stitch, and join as you go. So let's just dive right in, okay? So as you can see here, I do have a couple of different swatches here of different various looking granny squares. And I just wanted to, before I do anything, I wanted to point out one consistent thing. You want to make sure that your edge pieces, they all match as far as count or texture. So I'll give you an example here. This is the lattice stitch, the lacy lattice stitch. And as you can see, this is going to be a slightly different count than, say, the sunburst square. You probably could adjust that and change that. But as far as this is concerned, you'll probably want to pair it with other lattice squares. And then, of course, even the sunburst square is not going to match up with, say, the flower in the middle square. So you want to make sure that your counts are going to be even. Now, let's say I did another row here, and I had done this square in the same yarn as I did this square. I could have potentially been able to match these up together, because you see these has like 3 pairs of 3, and it has the 2 corners, and they're exactly the same, kind of like. So I would just need to have done another row around here to make this one match up the count with this. And then obviously if I'm using a different type of yarn, that's not going to work either. So for my demonstration today, I'm going to be pairing these 2 up, and then I have another one to show you how to do the join as go. It's already been started, and we're going to work on that as we go. Okay, so first up, we are going to work on the whip stitch. So the whip stitch, we just use yarn and a needle. So I'm going to just quickly cut off a strand of thread, and I'm going to thread my needle. And the whip stitch, you want to make sure that you're putting your, well, it doesn't matter whether it's the whip stitch or the slip stitch, you'll want to make sure that you are putting your 2 halves or your 2 squares together facing each other. So the front facing each other. So front, back, you want to put your front facing each other. So you want to match up the corner to corner and stitch for stitch. And you're just going to take your needle, and I like to kind of wrap my needle around as I go. So I'm just going to match up each stitch for stitch. The whip stitch is just a very simple stitch, just like that. It's just whipping across. We're matching stitch for stitch. Not too overly complicated. I know this is a very, very common way to put our grannies together. Now, for a square like the trellis stitch, I would use the whip stitch, just because there are so many stitches that you need to make sure you're lining up. So I don't really feel like a slip stitch would be a great, it wouldn't showcase this as well. And then the join as you go, yeah, it would be more invisible, but I just feel like that would be a lot of work for that particular square, and you'll see why out in just a minute. So, and you're just going to match it up. Even your spaces, you want to match those up as well. So that is the whip stitch. As you can see, it's neat, and bonus, it doesn't eat up that much yarn. The downside, you'll be weaving in more ends than you want to admit, but hey, We've all been there, right? Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next one. Give me just a minute to set that up. Okay, so we're moving on to the whip stitch. So I'm still going to be using the same yarn, but this one I didn't snip off. It's still attached to my yarn. Still going to be putting your work face to face, unless you want a ridge to be on the purposefully on the other side. So we're just going to attach our yarn real quick in any corner, doesn't matter. You're going to put it through both squares. And just like with the whip stitch, I actually will crochet over my yarn. Well, with the whip stitch, you really can't. So same thing with the whip stitch. You are actually going to match up your stitches. And I get a little bit closer. I didn't realize I was so far away. So you're just going to be matching up your stitches and doing the slip stitch. Just like with the whip stitch, the only difference is that you're crocheting it instead of getting your needle and thread out, or yarn. And then, of course, you're going to have to weave in this end. Now, as you notice, we're doing it on the back side so that this is not showing on that other side. And you want to make sure you hit that space and then just keep going like that. And I'm going to keep going to the end here. It's really quite simple, right? All right, so this one gives you that nice raised seam, kind of like a little ridge. Perfect if you want your joins to pop and actually be a part of the design. I'll meet you here at the end of the corner, and there's a reason for me doing it this way. Okay, so in the corner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I did the slip stitch, and then I'm going to just do one more chain just to secure that stitch together. We're going to snip that end, tie it off, and there you have it. So your pieces are together. Well, you might not want to use, the opposite color. You want to use the same color, and this is the back side. So that's what the whip stitch looks like. I personally, this is not my favorite, but some people do like it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so this is the method that I prefer, and that's the join as you go. So I'm going to bring in my piece that I've already been working on. It's almost done, but it's not quite done. So you want to get down to the last row, and you notice that I've got two corners already done. I always like to land in the middle of my row or right before a corner. So I like to have a full edge to join together. So I don't like to do this at this point or even at the beginning. I don't know. I just don't like doing it at the beginning. I like to do it like when you have one full side left to go. Okay. So here we go. We're going to do in that corner, because this is where you start your join. You're going to do those 3 double crochets. And then we're going to chain of 1, and this is the time that you do not have to put your squares like fronts together. Okay. I actually prefer them to have both the fronts facing you so you can see what you're doing. So I did a chain of 1. We're not going to do a chain of 2 because we want it to have a chain 1, then your join, then a chain 1. Oh, looks like I'm going to have to back out just a little bit because I can't see. It's blurring. All right, so we did a chain of 1. Now I'm going to go to the other opposite corner that matches with this corner, and I'm going to do a slip stitch in that corner. Then I'm going to do another chain 1. Now I'm going to finish my 3 double crochets in this corner of the new motif or square, whichever one you want to call it. Let me get myself a little extra yarn here. All right, so then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to match up. So you see how we've got these all matched up. We want to go from corner to corner. So this is actually going to be from space to space. So we're going to go from this chain 1, and we're going to grab this space, the very next space on the old square, we're going to do a slip stitch, chain 1. We're going to find the next space on the new motif, slip stitch, chain 1. So we did our chain 1. Now we're going to go to our next available space on the old square, slip stitch, chain 1. Now we're going back to the new square. In the next space, slip stitch, chain 1. Now we're going back to the old, slip stitch, chain 1. And now we've got all those chain spaces. We worked in all of those, all right? So now we're going to go back into that corner. We're going to do 3 double crochets. Two and 3. We're going to do that chain of 1 in the corner. Going to grab that last corner space, do a slip stitch, chain 1, go back to the new one, and we'll do the 3 double crochets, and then you'll finish your square as usual. Okay, now I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to show you how you would do it if you were doing if you were joining 2 squares together at like a seam. Okay, so now we are going to we're going to do like in a corner. Okay, so we're going to take we did our three double crochets on the new square. We're going to do a chain 1, and we're going to pop it into this space, in the same space that these 2 are joined together. We're just going to pretend like that was a join as you go that we had done already. So we're going to put our hook into that join for those 2 that were joined together. We're going to do a slip stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to continue on as if as per usual. Now, if you have 2 that you need to join on, or need one that you join on 2 sides. So similar to this, how I left one full spot, one full side open, you'll want to make sure that you leave 2 full sides open, because if you look at this right here, you're going to start your join on this edge, go through, and then you're going to join in this corner, and then you're going to continue joining on this edge and then end on this corner. And that's pretty much how it does. As you can see, this one's like a crowd favorite because it does save you from a mountain of seams later. But fair warning, it does require a little bit of planning. So no freestyling at 2 a.m. with half a square left in a yarn chicken situation. You do really need to plan. It does eat a little bit more yarn up, but like I said, this is actually my favorite because you're joining as you go. You don't have to think about it later. You've done your square and you've joined it together, and you're just going to keep on going. So that's kind of how it looks like. So it would be 4 of those squares together. Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be kind of fun. So, with grannies, a lot of times you can actually mix and match. And I think that's so much fun to be able to mix and match as long as you have the same count at the end of your row. So like I said, with this one, if I had used a different yarn and I had done just one more row with this particular square, I could have joined any one of them together and mixed and matched, and that would have been fun, right? So whether you want invisible, decorative, or efficient, there's a join for that. And if you're loving Granny Square Adventures, don't miss episode 4 of The Great Granny Conspiracy. The drama there is juicier than frogging a whole project. You're going to come for the tutorial, but stay for the story. Until next time, don't let your squares go rogue, and happy crocheting.